So this was actually really fun to do, even though I used to hate this playstyle back in the day. I think this kind of playstyle can be fun if you don't do it all the time, like back in the day when this was meta. If you haven't played back in the day, by the way, you probably don't know this, but Maiming Strike is probably the second most nerfed mod in the entire game, right behind Covert Lethality, which used to one-shot enemies as long as you could do a finisher on them. What Maiming Strike used to do all the way up until 2019 is give you flat 90% bonus crit on a slide attack. So when you combined it with Blood Rush, you would end up sitting in a very high tier red crit territory. Because just in case you don't know, crit doesn't stop at 300%. You can go well above 300% and get into a higher tier of red crits. But anyway, this isn't anywhere near as strong as that used to be, but it's decent enough to where you can have a bit of fun with it. I tested this with all the melee frames, or all the Warframes that I have set up for melee shenanigans, and the ones I ended up liking the most were the ones that you saw in this video. So at number 3 I would put in Arrows. He's like the baseline for this kind of stuff. He's pretty fun when you have Warcry and Arcane Strike on him. Then at number 2 I'm gonna put Gauss because he gets a lot more speed, but he's also fairly squishy. And at number 1 I'm actually gonna put Vault. Vault was by far the most fun. But there are other frames that actually work really well with this, like Octavia for example. When you have the right song on Octavia, this setup can actually automate your stealth because you're doing slide attacks, which means you're crouching. Or you can just go with the stealth frame like Asher and Loki. That would actually be the closest you could get to the OG Meme Strike setup, because back in the day you would combine this Meme Strike setup with the OG Shadow Step from the Naramon Focus School, which once you activated Focus, which, you know, Focus worked differently back in the day, would make you invisible for 10 seconds on a melee crit. It was broken as hell. You were running around invisible all the time, one-shotting things through walls, because this was before they made melee weapons obey line of sight. Now you could actually make this setup better if you took out Maiming Strike, but I mean, come on, what kind of a Meme Strike setup would it be without Meme Strike? So I'm running both Blood Rush and Maiming Strike. I'm also running Primed Pressure Point and Spoiled Strike, which, again, bad, but it's what I used to run on my Atarax. For me, this was mostly a nostalgia trip, but I did genuinely want to try it out, because I was like, well, this could do some good damage, and it actually does. It does do decent damage. It will absolutely rip through the star chart, that's for sure, and if you're gonna use it on the normal star chart, I would recommend you take out Spoiled Strike and put in Spring-Loaded Blade instead, so you get the extra 2 meters of range. And it's fairly decent in Steel Path as well. The main draw of this setup is obviously the speed. It is very fast, though it's also very demanding. It is very difficult to do, and I definitely did not use a macro on the software that came with my mouse. No ma'am, no sir, I don't do that. I'm just that damn good at slide attacking. So yeah, if you have the Incarno Nanku, I would definitely recommend you give this setup a shot. Just don't use it all the time. Try it out and have a bit of fun with it. And that is pretty much it for the video, so I thank you very much for watching. As always guys, I would like to extend a special thank you to all the channel members. Thank you very much guys, I really appreciate your support, and if you would like to become a channel member as well, by the way, you can check out the memberships and stuff down below. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.